your 90-day trial for 2025 is over. So were you achieving what you said you were going to achieve, or are you still in the same position you were December 31st? Think about it.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, my name is India. It's so nice to meet you. For those that are returning, it's so good to see you again. So today's video, long overdue. I was really supposed to post this video at the beginning of 2025, and it's April. So, but that's okay. That's okay because it's getting posted. But today's video is honestly long overdue. I feel like a lot of people have asked me, like, India, you do so much in terms of going to school, everything I did at FAMU in terms of leadership, balancing that on top of having a full-time job, balancing that on top of running multiple businesses. Like, how do you stay sane? How do you keep it together? Like, girl, put me on game. That's exactly what this video is. And I'm definitely going to title it, your 90-day trial for 2025 is over. So were you achieving what you said you were going to achieve, or are you still in the same position you were December 31st? Think about it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So definitely going to be going over some tips, some tricks, some things that I do, some things that have helped me stay organized. I'm not perfect, and I mean, I just recorded a whole video talking about how I left my job. I'm not perfect, so this isn't the golden rule, the golden key, but this has definitely helped me stay organized and, you know, keep myself together through all of my chaos within my life. So I'm definitely wrong. That's the I left my job one. Make sure y'all check that video out. I was crying about the entire video. Let's get the right one pulled up. So I am going to be using my iPad just so I can stay on track, because y'all know I love to, you know, yap. But I first wanted to start this video off with kind of a recap of what my first 90 days have been like in 2025. So the first thing I put was my March Madness Wellness Challenge. Y'all, I finished my March Madness Wellness Challenge. I was speaking about it, I think like 2-ish videos ago. I was showing you guys my meal prep for my March Madness. I completed it. I did it. I essentially challenged myself, similar to my December discipline challenge. I challenged myself, one, to become more active, because outside of the gym, because I was working virtually, like, I live a very sedentary life. So outside of the gym, I'm not moving. Like, I'm literally sitting at a desk all day. So just closing my fitness rings, and I did, and my little fitness ring calendar looks so beautiful because every single day has been closed since like the last week of February. Then also, of course, drinking my water, which that's normal for me. Going to the gym, that's normal for me. What else? Eating in a slight calorie deficit, that's been fine. Like, it's been fine. Hitting my protein goals has been hard because a lot of the times I skip meals, so that was a little challenging. Reading books, motivational books, I fell off on that, but I'm giving myself grace because I find that I can only read a book in its entire completion if it's a Black author. So I'm just gonna start switching back to, you know, Black authors and Black literature. I can't really remember the rest, but I finished that challenge. That went great. Second point is that I left my job. So I was given an ultimatum in order to progress within the company that I was working at, and it was an ultimatum that I ultimately, like, it pushed me away from corporate, and so now I am fully self-employed. Basically, they were like, we want you to work here, but you have to step away from your businesses and your dream of being a beauty influencer. If you want to hear more about that story, watch that video. It was posted literally like 2 days ago. But with me leaving my job, literally, y'all, it's my 3rd day out here, not being employed with that company, and I've already received 2 emails from 2 totally different companies regarding like partnership and, you know, income opportunities. And when I say I'm not talking about corporate. I'm talking about partnering with me as a content creator, as an influencer. Like, God is doing his big one. Hello. Not to mention, I've literally been working with creators for Synai Symone. So it's like, I'm so happy right now. Like, I feel like this needed to happen and I am well on my path. I'm literally recording YouTube video number 2 for this week. Like, hello. So yeah, if you want to hear more about that, watch that video. The next one, attending influencer events and networking events. So I attended my first influencer event as a creator and not as the brand team or as a vendor at the event. And so I absolutely loved it, being in a room full of other creators, like seeing people like me who have their cameras out, have their lights out, and not being ashamed to create content because, babe, that's how we get paid. So I love that. And then I recently attended a networking event where I was able to network with fellow entrepreneurs. It was like a bring a gift type of event. So everyone brought a gift, either something sentimental to them or something from their actual business. And we did like a gift exchange. So that was really cool, just meeting other entrepreneurs, things like that. And then of course, I'm also a part of networking groups within Atlanta. So like with fellow women entrepreneurs or, you know, professionals, like joining networking groups, meeting more people. That's also been very great. Next, being consistent with content, y'all. You might not have been seeing it from the YouTube side, but when it comes to Instagram and TikTok, I posted 4 pieces of content every single day. I did. And so I think I'm just so proud of myself in that regard, because posting 1 piece of content a day is crazy. But I had to post 2 pieces of content for IANYS Creative, 1 piece of content for India Synai, 1 piece of content for Synai Symone, which ended up being a total of 4. And then at least 3 of my India Synai posts throughout the week had to be collaborated with ENOMYS Wellness, which is my 3rd out of 4th brand. So I was doing a lot, y'all, but I made it. The next point I put is getting closer to God. I talked about this a lot in my last video, so I really don't have to hit on it much, but I was having a whole bunch of trials and tribulations, and I was going through a lot. So I definitely got closer to God during that entire situation, during that entire process. And honestly, I've been getting closer to God since my senior year of college when family was trying me. I'm wearing my family shirt right now. You know, it's all love, but they was trying me. So yeah, getting closer to God. Like, I joined a church, even though it's online, like I still joined the church. And I still be tuned in every Sunday. So love that for me. Then the last one I put, I already said this, but being afforded brand partnership opportunities as a creator, and then also partnering with creators for Synai Symone to start getting more influencer content. So that's been my first 90 days. I feel like it's only my 3rd day being fully self-employed, but the amount of time I've had to pour into what I'm passionate about, which is making content, running IANYS, running Synai Symone, building my own brand, building ENOMYS, like, I absolutely love it here. Mind you, you know, I still have money, so that might be why I love it here. That's my dog, y'all, sorry. That might be why I love it here. So, you know, when the income isn't as consistent, but we're not gonna speak that into existence, because right now, we're living in the now, things are great, and I love it here. And I'm about to go on my birthday trip in a week, so I'm very excited. So yeah, enough about me. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the video. So, like I said, a lot of people ask me all the time, like, India, how do you balance everything? How do you stay motivated, disciplined, organized within all of your endeavors? So I am, not to brag, but I am gonna just kind of go through what my endeavors are. So, I mean, when I was a college student, I was a college student full-time. I was working full-time virtually for the company that I recently left. So I was clocking in between around 30-ish hours a week while I was still attending class. I also had leadership positions on campus. And then, of course, at the time, I had Synai Symone. Then I dropped IANYS August of 2023. So I had my second business, which IANYS is literally just a platform for me to help fellow like-minded creators and entrepreneurs within their journey in terms of providing resources. I also have freelance services, so if you need any services regarding social media, starting your business, branding, anything like that, like, that's what IANYS is for, because I didn't have anyone to kind of provide that information for me when I was starting my business at 14. So I wanted to create a platform where I could educate people and help people through resources, digital downloads, resources, freelancing services, all that. Then I also started ENOMYS, which right now it's just more so of a brand. It's not a business because it's just a place for me to put content regarding my health, wellness, fitness, nutrition. Like, y'all know I love to meal prep. You know I love to go to the gym. Just a place for me to put that content. So yeah, that's not really a profitable business, but I do have that. And then I recently got my third LLC, which is my name. And that's essentially where I'm going to start promoting my content creation services in terms of partnering with other brands and starting my journey to becoming an influencer. So yeah, you know, I have a lot that I do on top of trying to balance self-care, my wellness, personal care, like all that stuff. So this is how I do it. So first things first, if you're trying to, you know, take control of your life, rebrand your life, do a shift, the first thing you need to do is conduct a personal audit. Now, I'm contemplating creating a digital product for IANYS Creative that is a life audit. So not sure if it's going to be out by the time this video drops. I hope so, but not sure, can't guarantee. If it is, it will definitely be, just check the description right now. Check the description and see if I created the product. If not, eventually it will be out, so you can definitely utilize that resource. But you want to conduct a personal audit on yourself, on your life, on your environment, and it's basically going to allow you to recognize what's working, what's not working, identify any habits, relationships, or mindsets that need to change in order for you to show up as the version of yourself that you want. So that's step one. You have to acknowledge where you've been, what you've been doing, and how that accounts towards what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, and who you're trying to be. Number two, you need to upgrade your environment. So this is very important, and I feel like I went through this shift. I literally talk about this all the time. In almost every video that has to do with FAMU, I talk about the shift that took place my senior year, really like halfway through my junior year, but definitely my entire senior year, where I wasn't going out as much. My priorities were shifting. Friendships weren't really, I wasn't losing friendships, but I was definitely like stepping back from a lot of friendships because it just wasn't reflective of where I was trying to go. So you need to declutter, sweetheart. You need to redecorate, refresh, whatever, your surroundings. And then I also put to curate your social circle. So ask yourself, are the people that you're around, are they inspiring you or are they draining you? Are they bringing you closer to where you're trying to be in life, or are they keeping you back or keeping you stagnant when you're trying to elevate? Then the last one is to clean up your digital space. So your social media, your emails, your playlists. So when I say playlist, I mean like me personally, I also put subscriptions in podcasts because I'm a podcast listener. But if you know what my favorite podcast is, you're probably like, India, that's not really, you know, when people listen to a podcast, they like to listen to motivational podcasts, not that type of podcast. So just trying to, you know, throw in a couple of like elevate yourself type of things within the stuff that you're listening to and the stuff that you're watching. So that could be as simple as watching sermons more often, or having a faith-based podcast, or a motivational, inspirational finance podcast. Like, throw in some stuff that can actually help you, you know, grow and get to where you want to be in life versus just solely listening to drama-filled stuff. Even though, you know, we love to watch the drama, but throw in some stuff that could actually be beneficial. And then the same thing goes for like if you're a book reader. Me personally, I'm not a book reader, and it's honestly crazy because I graduated with a degree in public relations, which is a part of communications, which means that I have to read and I have to write. And I hated reading growing up. Like, I hate to say it, but I was the kid who would look up on Good Notes a summary of it, or I would watch the movie. I can't tell you what book I read in completion since freaking elementary school, and it's really sad. Now that doesn't include the books that I was reading for my December Discipline Challenge and for March, but like talking about school wise, like I never actually read any book. Like, thank God ChatGPT wasn't out when I was in high school. That's all I'm gonna say. Anywho, yeah, so please start throwing in more like motivational things that can improve your life. Okay, The next section is you need to set a bold identity, sweetheart. Okay, so create a vision board, a mood board, a vision book. One thing about me, I love Pinterest, and I'm always on Pinterest, like rebranding my life, like finding motivational pictures, inspirational pictures, and putting stuff together. And actually at the beginning of 2025, I created a vision book. Now, did I finish the vision book? Not really. So that kind of just goes to like, is it really worth it to make a vision board? But you know, it's really about the process of doing it. And you know, it kind of helping to motivate you and identify what exactly you want to accomplish. So I haven't really touched my vision book in a minute. But find something that works for you and create it. Just something that can allow you to identify what exactly are your goals. And you know, visualize it for yourself. Then I also put describe your ideal self in 2025. So who do you want to be? Like, what is he, she, they, like, what are you doing? What's going on? Where do you live? What type of job do you have? How often do you go out? How much are you spending? Like, just kind of figure out who your ideal self is in 2025. And then from there, I also put to alter how you show up. So whether that's an appearance or a style factor. So like me personally, I like to wear hoodies and sweatpants and Crocs like 25/8. Like that's practically what I wore to class every single day at FAMU. I'm not get dressed up unless it's a actual occasion. I'm not a makeup girly, even though I recently got into makeup and I'm trying to learn how to do my makeup because I actually like doing my makeup. But it's like I was very much like looked like a bum 25/8, and so just learning like there are some spaces, India, where maybe you should dress up, or there are some situations where maybe you should put a heel on, even though y'all know I can't walk in no heels because my foot size is an 11. I'm wide foot and I'm flat footed, so that's triple homicide. So heels really were not made for women like me. But you know, just trying to figure out what is a better shoe than a Converse or a Van, because I'm very much a Converse and Van type of girly, and New Balance, and Reebok. I don't like Jordans. It's just not for me. So it's like, you know, I like Nikes too. But, you know, just trying to figure out, like, girl, can you start dressing like you're grown and stop dressing like you're in 2014? So, yeah, you know, alter your appearance. And honestly, I feel like when I started dressing up, like, when I took this picture that everyone has literally, like, been raving about, when I took that picture, everybody was like, who is that girl? Like, okay, India. And I was like, okay, I'm cute. Like, it just kind of boosted my confidence a little bit. So, you know, it's okay to, you know, rebrand yourself visually or physically. But that, then I also put communication. So how are you communicating? Now, I mean, this could mean a million things. But like, are you consistently saying slang? Now me, I don't have no issue with saying slang, because one thing about me, when I text, whatever the last word I text, it's gonna have 3 of the same letter. Like I'll say going, or to, or be, they, or if I'm saying somebody's name, India, like that's just how I talk. So that's completely up to you, you know, how you communicate, but definitely be mindful of like the things you're saying. If you curse too much, like kind of scale it back. Then also your social media presence. So a lot of people take breaks from social media. Me personally, working in marketing, like that's not a thing for me to take a break from social media because I'm running a million social media pages. But also I've never felt that I needed a break from social media because I am a warrior when it comes to do not disturb, and I mute half of the people I follow. Like everybody I went to school with at FAMU, they're probably muted. I don't like blocking people, but I will definitely mute you. And I muted basically everyone I went to school with because I was so sick of seeing FAMU when I don't want to see that anymore. And that's probably how people felt when I was there. But it's like when you graduate, I don't really want to see what's happening at, like, I don't want FAMU to still consume my life. I'm grown now. So yeah, your social media presence. If that means you're taking a break, take a break. If that means you need to mute people. Like, do what you gotta do. So yeah, next, goal setting. This is probably the most important. So for me personally, I break my goals down to the ground, okay? So on here, I put monthly, weekly, daily. So start off with quarters. So the first quarter, a quarter is going to be 3 months, your 90-day trial. for each quarter, you need to have a set of goals saying, hey, quarter Q1, I want to focus on this. Q2, I want to focus on this. Q3, I want to focus on this. Q4, I want to focus on this. Or these are my goals for each. This is something I want to achieve in each quarter. As you set your quarterly goals, let me take this gum out my mouth because this ain't working. I'm sorry. As you go through and identify your quarterly goals, so your goals for the first 3 months, second 3 months, third and fourth 3 months, you're going to go back through and say, okay, these are my quarterly goals. Now, what are my monthly goals? So what am I doing in January, February, and March? So when you have your quarterly goals, you're going to break it down even further and say, okay, if this is what I want to achieve, that means that I'm achieving it in March, June, September, and December. So you're going to say, okay, those are my outcomes for each of those months. Now, how am I going to break that down into, each month? So what do I need to achieve in January versus February to get me to where I need to be in March? April versus May to where I need to be in June, and so forth. Then when you do that, you're going to break that down even further and say, okay, I have it by month. Now, what do I need to do each week? So now you have your goal for the month. Now, how am I going to break down my monthly goal into actionable items each week? So, for example, if I say I want to stay consistent with content, I want to post X amount of times. Okay, now what days of the week am I posting? Now that I know what days of the week I'm posting, okay, now what days am I editing? So it's like you're literally breaking it down. So you're going to break it down by week and say, okay, week 1, I do this. Week 2 is this. Week 3 is this. Week 4 is this. Then you're going to break it down by day. So when you break it down by day, me personally, this is where I like to have a to-do list. Planners do not work for me. I feel like I've said this a million times. Maybe I haven't, and I've just recorded this video a million times and just never uploaded it. But planners do not work for me. I can't use a planner. Like, I'll buy it and then I don't use it. To-do lists, that's my jam. Notion, that's my jam. You guys should definitely check out Notion. It's how I organize my entire life. I might show y'all my Notion page. But have a daily to-do list where you can physically check off what it is you're doing for the day. And then each week, so like every Saturday, I go through and I have a weekly checklist. So the weekly girl, slow down. The weekly checklist is where I go through and take my monthly goals and say, okay, this is what I want to achieve this week. So I'll pull things and say, okay, by this week, I need this video up, this video, this, and this. And so when I have my weekly goals, I go through and I place them on specific days. So I say, okay, this is what I'm doing Monday from that list. Move this to Tuesday, move this to Wednesday, move this to Thursday. And that helps me keep myself organized in terms of, am I achieving my daily goals, which will lead into my weekly goals, which will get me closer to my monthly, which will get me closer to the quarterly goals. So it's literally about breaking it down as much as you can. And then furthermore for that, I'll talk about, well, this is the next one, time blocking. You guys need to start time blocking your days. Like, honestly, you're like, India, how do you wake up at 6 in the morning and go to the gym? Because I started doing it, and then eventually I did it for a week. Then I did it for 2 weeks. Then I did it for a month. Then I did it for 3 months. You just gotta start doing it. Like, and you have to learn how to have discipline. Like, fuck motivation. Sorry, but fuck motivation. You need discipline. Because do I always feel like going to the gym at 6 in the morning? No. But do I do it? Yes. Just like brushing your teeth. When you wake up, you're gonna brush your teeth. When you stink, you're gonna put on some deodorant, you're gonna put on some perfume, or you're gonna step in the shower and wash your behind. So it's like you just have to do things to where they become a habit, and then you won't have to question why you're not being consistent because it's a habit now. Like, it's just second nature. So start time blocking your day. So from the hours of 6 to 8 or 6 to 8 a.m., don't bother me because I'm at the gym. That's my gym time. Do not bother me at all. Then I would start time blocking where I have specific hours set aside to work specifically on Synai Symone, specifically on IANYS, ENOMYS, or my personal brand. So you need to start setting aside that time because if you have class at 2 p.m., it's at 2 p.m. which means that if somebody trying to call you during 2 p.m., somebody trying to get lunch during 2 p.m., if you're disciplined, you're not going to go for it. Why? Because you have class. Or if you're scheduled for work at 3 p.m. and somebody says, hey, India, let's go on a date. I can't go on a date because I have to work. It's the same thing. You just need to learn how to have that same type of discipline when it comes to your personal goals. You're not gonna let nobody else interfere with you making money and you clocking in at work, but you're gonna let somebody else interfere with you trying to make that content, you trying to lose that weight, go to the gym, like whatever it is. You need to change your mindset, which that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different bullet point. But start time blocking your days, because then you're making sure that you're actually allocating enough time towards each task. Now, whether you complete it, that's on you, but you at least took the effort to set aside the time, so you can't blame the fact that you aren't achieving your goals on the fact that you didn't have enough time to do it. Because 1 hour a day can get you very far. And I think that's something that I learned, is that you look at the amount of time you're on social media, the amount of time that you're in the bed doing nothing, in the bed sleeping, or going to parties. Like, you could be spending that time doing other things. If you can take an hour to scroll on social media, you can take an hour to go to the gym, take an hour to go for a walk, take an hour to go to therapy, take an hour to work on your business, work on that content, like whatever it is. You just are like in denial. I don't really like saying lazy, but I mean, it is laziness. So yeah, start time blocking your days. Like, if you go to my calendar app, let me go to my calendar app. You'll literally see, like, I time block my days. And honestly, let me show you what it looked like before. This is what it looked like before when I had a full-time job. But then I removed a couple things. And so now, this is what it's looking like. So, start time blocking your days. And watch how much more productive you get. Amen, amen. Then the last one I put, which is very important, is to stop focusing on outcome goals and start focusing on actionable goals. So an outcome goal is basically what you want to achieve in the end. The actionable goals are going to be, what are you doing to get there? So for example, if I said I want to reach 10,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers is my outcome goal. But what are my actionable goals? Posting consistently, posting every week, engaging with the algorithm, doing my research, looking at my analytics, meeting people and following them. Those are actionable goals. Getting the 10K followers is the outcome goal. A lot of the times we're so focused with the outcome goals that we lose sight of the actionable goals. Another example, if you're trying to lose weight, you're saying, hey, I want to be 180 pounds. That's like, okay, girl, we ain't nowhere near that. But I want to be 180 pounds by my birthday. That's your that's your outcome goal. But what are you doing to get there? You're going to the gym, you're going on walks, you're getting 10K steps, you're eating better, you're drinking a gallon of water. Like, if you aren't focusing on your actionable goals, there's no way in hell you're gonna be 180 pounds, sweetheart. So a lot of the times we're too focused on the outcome that we lose sight of the action, and the consistent nature of those actions is what's going to lead us to the outcome. So stop focusing on your outcome goals and start focusing on your action goals. And honestly, when you start small, so like for me, hitting 10K steps, it's hard. It is. But closing my closing my fitness ring was a little bit more achievable. So I decided to go that route instead and taking it day by day. Next thing I knew, my entire March Madness challenge was over, and the entire month of March was lit up because I closed my fitness ring. So start focusing on your action goals and stop focusing so much on your outcome goals. Use your outcome goals as motivation to continue through with your action goals, but don't lose sight of your action goals because you aren't seeing the outcome like immediately. I hope that makes sense. Then I have implement a 30, 60, 90 day plan. So this kind of goes into breaking your goals down quarterly or yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. But having a 30, 60, 90 day plan will kind of help make things more realistic in terms of what should you be doing the first month versus the second month versus the third month. So the first 30 days should be you building those small habits. So for example, me closing out my fitness ring. That was the habit I was building in the first month of March. 60 days, so when you get into month 2, it's going to be testing out new opportunities. So new opportunities for me, now that I've closed my fitness ring out, maybe now I can start aiming for 10,000 steps a day. Like, I can bring it up a notch. Another example could be you hopping on, like, starting new side projects, acquiring new skills, doing new trainings, networking with people. Like, test out new opportunities, travel more. Then 90 days, I don't really know why I said travel. I don't know that really, went with what I was saying. But now the 90 days, so in month 3, you need to fully embody the rebrand that you have been working on and set that as a standard. So by month 3, you should not be coming up with excuses why you were not closing your fitness ring, India. You should not be coming up with excuses why you couldn't get your 10K steps in, India. Like, by month 3, you need to be seeing everything that you set in stone with those habits and trying out those new opportunities. Like, you need to be seeing it through and figuring out, okay, this is my new standard. And I feel like when you look at it that way in terms of trying to become consistent going to the gym, that's kind of how it works. Like, you start off going, say, 3 days a week. Then 3 days a week works for you. So you say, okay, next month I'm going to up it up to 5 days a week. That works for you. By month 3, you should not have an issue going to the gym 5 days a week because you spent all that time getting there. So think about breaking your stuff into implementing them into, 30, 60, 90 day plans in terms of planning how you want each quarter to go. So the first quarter, Q1, is done. We're in Q2. So this is your time to start figuring out, what do I want for Q2? And then establishing a 30, 60, 90 day plan, which basically says, I'm going to do this in April, this in May, this in June. And then you're going to break that down by week. And you're going to break that down by day. And then you're going to time block your days so that you have enough time to complete your daily tasks. Next, shifting your mindset. This is also something that is very important. So I honestly feel like this is what helped me shift my mindset and become more productive. That was my air freshener, sorry. Become more productive and just realigning my goals. And it's to treat your life like a business. And when I say treat your life like a business, everything that you do needs to make sense. So everything that you do needs to align with your brand values. It needs to align with where you're trying to go in the future. Bring in money. Provide some sort of beneficial experience. So that could be traveling or going to a new restaurant, whatever that is. It needs to do something beneficial for you. And if it's not, then you don't need to be doing it. Here's an example. Drinking alcohol. I mean, I've never been the type of person that thought alcohol tasted good. But when I was in college, I was being your typical college student. And I would be going to parties and I would be drinking because I liked the way it felt. Like, it was cool. But then I got to a certain point where I was like, this really isn't cool anymore. I also started to realize I can still have a good time without drinking. And then it got to a point where it was like, I think for me personally, like if I'm getting deep down into it, my tolerance for alcohol just kept steadily rising to the point where it took way too much alcohol for me to feel something. So I started not drinking because I was like, I have to drink too much for me to feel something. So I'm just not going to drink because I don't like the way it tastes. And child, I gained like a freshman 40. And then throughout the rest of college, I was, up and down. But I was just like, it's not really worth it no more. And so once I left college, I really never drank unless I was going to a cute restaurant. But even then, I started ordering virgin drinks or mocktails because I was like, I really just want some juice. Like, I don't like the way alcohol tastes. If I have wine, I want wine that tastes like sparkling grape juice. Like, it just don't do it for me. So it's like, I realized I don't need that. And it doesn't do anything for me. So why am I drinking it? So now it's not that I don't drink alcohol at all, but like, I don't drink. Like, I just don't. If I want to, it's fine, but I don't drink. So yeah, there's an example for you there. Then also put learn to pivot. So when something doesn't work out, don't just quit, just adjust. Like, and I feel like my entire story about leaving my job to pursue my businesses full time, that's me pivoting. Like, I'm not quitting saying, oh my gosh, I don't have a job, like I'm gonna be broke, da da da. Like, if I was quitting, I'll be in the bed crying my eyes out, doing nothing, depressed. But as you can see, I'm making content. I'm getting emails from brands to partner with them. I'm partnering with influencers for my own business. Like, I'm making strides. I'm pivoting because I'm not allowing one thing to determine how the rest of my life is going to go. So please learn how to pivot and stop quitting. Like, we're not quitters. We're go-getters. The next one I put, which is very important, and I kind of already touched on this, but prioritize self-discipline over motivation. I don't never feel like going to the gym. Well, sometimes I do, but like a lot of times I don't feel like going to the gym. So it's not the motivation that's getting me in the gym. It's the discipline that's getting me in the gym. Just like if you have to run a mile, or if you have to, I'm trying to think of something else, go to class so you can graduate. Like, you a senior in college and you got to take this exam, or you got to attend a trial, or whatever they be calling it for y'all. Do an internship. Or apply for scholarships. Hell, you're not applying because you're motivated. Now, there might be a point in time where you feel motivated to, you know, go over and beyond and get it out the way. But you're doing it because you have to. And you're doing it because you know where it's going to take you. You know what's going to be waiting for you on the other side. That's discipline. You need to have that same discipline when it comes to achieving your goals. And if you don't, that's a you problem. I don't really know how to fix discipline other than to get the fuck up and stop. Like, at some point you just got to get up and go. Like, you just like stop creating excuses and just do it. So yeah, prioritize self-discipline over motivation. And honestly, if you're having issues with discipline, I don't like saying punish, but like just take something away if you don't do it. Like, if I don't go to the gym, then I can't have my ice cream tonight. Or if I don't go to the gym, I can't go out. I don't know, like that could potentially help, but at some point you just gotta stop being lazy and just start doing what you said you're gonna do. Because if you're not doing what you said that you were gonna do, why would somebody else trust you? Like, if you can't trust yourself, why would somebody else trust you to get stuff done? So yeah, just think about that. Then the next point I put is more in line with like social media stuff. But rebrand your online presence. So there was a point in time where I was not posting on LinkedIn, and I talked about that in the last video as well, where I didn't think I needed to because I had a job lined up. But update your LinkedIn, sweetheart. Let them people know what you've been doing, because you've been working. So let them know. Then update your IG bio. So like for me, when I was like, I want to start taking content creation more seriously, I created a new email specifically for brand partnerships with people that wanted to partner with me. I put it in my Instagram bio. I put it in my TikTok bio. Like, I did a rebrand. And then that's when I started posting content consistently. Then I also put any other platforms you may have. So, you know, give yourself a little rebrand. If you need to delete photos, delete photos. If you need to archive, archive. Whatever that is for you. Change your profile picture. So be it. Then I put start posting content that aligns with your new identity. So, excuse me. If you're the type of person that, you know, you post wherever you're at, every second of every hour of every day, some people could consider that to be me. But if I'm being real, I don't post what I do until after it's already done. Like, I'm not going to post and tell you that I'm here and I'm still here. Like, no. That's how people, yeah. But if you're the type that's posting that you're at the club, if you're posting people twerking, like whatever that, like, it could be anything. Baby, put that on the close friends. Put that on your spam. Put that on your burner account. Like, you need to look at yourself as a brand, as a business. And is that really what you want to portray out there? Like, when you think about it, even, I think a lot of people don't even, like, I made a video about this on TikTok. People don't think about this in terms of Twitter. Baby, we all be talking on Twitter, but is what you're saying on Twitter, if a job recruit came and looked at your Twitter account and saw all the things that you were tweeting, how would they feel? Would they still want to hire you? That's part of the reason why I made my Twitter account private when I was like graduating, but now it's public again because I was like, I can't do this. Like, I love Twitter too much to have a freaking private account because it just defeats the purpose. But you might need to consider creating a private Twitter account until you can clean up the tweets that you have. And the same thing with TikTok. People are hopping on these trends, but you know, if a recruiter sees that video, what would they think of you? Like, and I honestly, I can't even think of an example of a trend that's like that, but there are so many trends that people are doing that it's like, okay, well, I mean, if I was trying to hire you, I wouldn't really want to hire you because you're doing all of that. Like the, for example, the silhouette challenge. That was a long time ago, but this is the only thing I can think of. But like, if I see you doing a silhouette challenge and you got on lingerie and you posing in the dark with a shadow, I'm gonna create a whole other video on that. But like, just think about what you're posting beyond just Instagram. Think about your TikTok, think about your Twitter, all that. So yeah, something to think about. Then next, I put invest in yourself. So I feel like there are so many opportunities. This is why I'm so grateful for my dad, because he put me on game in terms of accounts that I needed to have to start investing in. That way when I turn 30 or 40, I'll be a millionaire. Like, figure out what those different accounts are. Me personally, I would share, but it's like, I don't really know. Like, it's so many, it's IRLs, IRAs, UILs. It's just so many different names. I don't really know what it is. I can't talk, y'all. I can't talk. I don't really know what everything is for real. I just trust my dad, and he basically says, India, let's create this account and let's make sure you're setting aside this amount of money to put into this account every month or every time you get paid. And I follow those directions. I don't really ask too much. I just follow those directions. But learn how to invest, because there are so many opportunities where you can invest money into them and it's literally growing for you. Like, one example I do know is changing my savings account to a high yield savings account, because the high yield savings account garners more interest than a typical savings account. So it's like your money is growing in the savings account. Even if you don't put anything in it, it's still growing more interest than what it would be growing if you just had it at in a regular bank account. So yeah, look into investing. Now, I don't know about them stocks and them Bitcoins and all that. I don't know about that. The next thing I put is put money into things that elevate you rather than entertaining you. So networking events could be a good example where I started attending. Some of the networking events that I attend are paid, but it's worth it in terms of the connections that I created, because some of the people I met are future clients. Some of the people I met are future partners. Some of the people I met, you know, have instilled knowledge into me, or, you know, it's just beneficial. So, you know, instead of spending $25 to go to the club, put $25 down so that you can attend a networking event and meet some more people within your career. Then the same thing goes for, you know, if you're subscribing to something, or, you know, buying a book, whatever it might be, like whatever it is for you, taking a course that could help you with your career, whatever that might be. Start investing more into things that actually benefit you versus just solely entertaining you. Then the last thing I put was get a mentor, get a coach, or a community to hold you accountable. So me personally, I don't have a coach, I don't have a mentor. I mean, I consider people in my life mentors, but I don't have someone where I'm like, yeah, they are my mentor. Like, you could consider like my previous managers mentors, my mama, because one thing about it, my mama gonna keep me on my P's and Q's. She is the reason why I am the way I am. She got 5 degrees. Just love educated black women. But yeah, like, if you can find a mentor, great. But I have joined communities within Atlanta. So like, I'm a part of a community that is filled with women entrepreneurs. That's another networking opportunity. I'm filled in rooms with people that have businesses like me, that have gone through what I've gone through, and that can grow with me. I'm a part of a couple of groups like that, actually. So if you can, join some sort of community, even if it's like a run club or something, like, join communities. Then I promise y'all I have 2 sections left. This video is probably gonna be like 50 minutes, but sorry. Move with intention. I feel like intention is such an important word that a lot of people, like, y'all don't move with no type of intention. You need to set clear goals. So like when I said, when I was trying to do 10K steps a day and I realized that just isn't feasible for me all the time, I switched from 10K steps a day to closing out my fitness ring, because I can close my fitness ring out without doing 10K steps. That made my goal a little bit more clear and more achievable and more feasible. So set clear goals, but also leave room for error. So a lot of the times when people are trying to start weight loss journeys, they fall off because they enter a situation that kind of offsets what their initial plan was. So say you go on vacation, or say a friend comes in town, or it's somebody's birthday and now you're eating XYZ. All you have to do is recalculate, reevaluate, and leave room for error. So say, for example, if you don't have the time to go to the gym, then just don't eat that much that day. Like, I'm not telling you not to eat nothing, but if you're trying to lose weight and you have a certain calorie goal, but you aren't burning, enough calories to put you in a deficit, then just be mindful of what you're eating that day so that you don't, mess up the numbers. You get what I'm saying? I hope that made sense. I don't know if it did. But same thing when it comes to content creation. Oh, I couldn't create content today because I had to go to the doctor. Oh, I couldn't create content because I had to work, or I have a vacation. That's fine. But what were you doing yesterday at 9 p.m. in the bed scrolling on TikTok when you could have been creating that video so that you didn't have to edit today? So it's like, just leave room for adjusting, leave room for error, and, try and make up for things when you have stuff coming up. Like, try and stay ahead of the game when it comes to planning, because planning is literally everything when it comes to trying to be consistent with something. Then I put, don't just dream about it, move like you already have it. So a perfect example with this is me and content creation, or me and leaving my job. Babes, I'm not making 6 figures off of my businesses and content creation, but I promise you I'm moving like I am. I'm posting like I am, because I know I have to move like I already got it in order to get there. I don't have 1 million followers. I'm not getting $15,000 brand deals every other day, but I'm gonna post content like I am. Because when I post content, people don't know how much I'm making off of my content. People don't know what brands I'm partnering with. Like, people don't know. You're the only one that knows. So sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it, and you gotta, act like you already got it so that you can get there. So keep that in mind. Then I put, align your daily actions with your long-term vision. So if the stuff that you're doing day to day is not aligned with where you're trying to go, then you should know off the bat, baby, you're not gonna get there. If you saying you want to lose weight, but you're not going to the gym, you aren't moving your body, you aren't eating less, you aren't being mindful of what you're consuming, how do you expect to lose weight? If you're trying to become an influencer, but you aren't posting content, you aren't being consistent, you aren't looking at your analytics, you aren't engaging with like-minded creators, you aren't networking with other creators, how do you expect to get there? So just make sure what you're doing on a daily basis is actually putting you towards your goals. And I honestly feel like when you think of it that way, whether it be getting 1% better every day, or looking at it like this, where you're like, is this going to get me where I want to go? It honestly makes things better. Another example, I gave up microwave popcorn for the entire month of March. If you know me, you know that's literally like my daily snack, is warming up some popcorn in the microwave and eating it. But I knew it has a lot of salt, it has a lot of butter, whatever. And I was able to give it up. But there were days where I was tested and I wanted to eat some, but I was like, India, you literally got a week left. Are you really about to give up all the weeks that you spent trying to be consistent just because you wanted this day? Like, just think about it. So there's that. Now this is the last section and this video is gonna be over. But celebrate small wins, y'all. Like, please celebrate yourself along the way, because it really does make a difference. Like, it's literally it's my 3rd day being fully self-employed. And I've received my 2nd email since Monday. So I've received 2 emails in the course of 3 days not being fully employed in corporate America regarding brands that want to partner with me as a content creator. Baby, that's celebratory. I'm going to celebrate that. Why? Because I wasn't sure what this life was gonna look like on my last day, which was 5 days ago. I wasn't sure what this life was gonna look like. I didn't know what God had in store for me. But within the first week of me being fully self-employed, I'm already receiving collaboration requests from other brands. Baby, that's worth celebrating. So even if it's, hey, I made it to 100 subscribers, hey, I lost 2 pounds, whatever it is, you need to celebrate yourself, because it's those small milestones and celebrating and appreciating those small milestones, those small actionable goals, that's gonna bring you closer to your outcome. So please celebrate yourself. But don't celebrate yourself by, you know, reversing what you worked hard for. Don't do that. Next, I put track your progress. So if that means taking pictures, taking screenshots, whatever that might be, writing stuff down, track your progress, because that's going to allow you to see how fast, how long did it take you to get to where you needed to be. Then the last part is going to be to give yourself grace, and don't let yourself off the hook. So give yourself grace, but remember that that's why we love tomorrow. So if you fall off one day, this is why I don't really like the 75 hard thing, because it's like, if you fall off, you have to start over. But I was watching a sermon from Dr. Darius Daniels, and he was talking about Lent and people giving up stuff and people not realizing, like, give yourself grace. If you fall off today, that's okay, because that's why we have tomorrow. Tomorrow you say, hey, I'm gonna do better. Like, you don't necessarily have to start over. You just need to, or start completely over. But tomorrow you say, hey, I fell off yesterday, but I can still continue this thing. Like, I can still do this. So give yourself grace, but don't let yourself off the hook and say, dang, I fell off, so that means I can't start back until next week or next month or wherever. No, tomorrow. So yeah, that's all I got, y'all. I'm really gonna try and get a life audit that kind of has all of this stuff in one place up on the IANYS Creative website. So definitely make sure y'all follow IANYS Creative at IANYS Creative. I'll put it on the screen, and then also bookmark our website, because that's where I'll be dropping all of my digital products and digital resources. I hope this video was enjoyable. I hope it was resourceful. I hope, you know, you know, have some gems. Now my light is dead. Okay. But I hope y'all like this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I kind of like the way this look better. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Hold up.